was gonna hate me now, and she never had a chance to grow up, never had a chance to experience anything, and I took that away from her, and there's nothing I can do to bring her back.
14-year-old Alianna DeFreeze was born on June 12, 2002, in Detroit, Michigan. She was the daughter of Damon DeFreeze and Denisha Cooper. Although her parents had separated when she was very young, they continued to co-parent her, both keeping an active role in her life. She was a 7th grader attending E-Prep in Village Prep Woodland Hills in Cleveland, Ohio. She had a developmental disability and was also diagnosed with a mental health condition which required daily medication. When it came to getting to and from school, the Cleveland Metropolitan School District provides yellow bus transportation for all students in pre-K through 6th grade who live more than a mile from school. However, older students have to take the RTA or public transit. Alianna's mother and grandmother were not happy that she had to take the RTA, but one of the only reasons they allowed her to take that bus was because one of the bus stops was directly in front of the police station. On this day, Alianna would leave and take the bus route to school as usual. She would take a public bus from her house, change buses at Kinsman Road and East 93rd Street, and then take a second bus to school. On some mornings, her friend would walk her from the first bus to the second bus stop. However, on this morning, they showed up late and did not see Alianna. All was well when everyone assumed she made it to school, but things would become strange around 4 p.m. when her mother expected her home after school and she never returned. She then called the school, and that's when she was notified that Alianna never showed up to school that day. Immediately, her mother called the police to report Alianna missing, and a search ensued. School officials began searching the area looking for Alianna, and the following day, the area was canvassed and flyers were distributed with her picture. However, a witness came forward in the investigation. They said that the morning of the 26th, they saw Alianna around 6:55 a.m. and witnessed an unknown man grab and take her. But he did not call the police because he was unsure whether they were related or the nature of their relationship. Soon enough, the FBI joined and obtained surveillance footage from the RTA buses and from other locations to develop a timeline for Alianna's disappearance. And this is what they pieced together. On the morning of January 26th, after getting off of the first bus, she was walking north towards her second bus stop, and at the same time, a man was walking south. Upon looking into the footage some more, they noticed that this man was pacing the area for almost 3 hours prior. Alianna then crossed the street and continued walking. Then the man began walking north and approached her. At 7:13 a.m., she neared the man but then stepped away from him. He convinced her to go with him, and then 2 people, believed to be the man and Alianna, walked across a vacant lot towards Fuller Avenue. Just 3 days later, police stumbled upon a vacant house on Fuller Avenue. They found the back door open, and when they walked in the house, they found a trail of blood leading from the dining room into an adjoining bedroom. They also found a drill, box cutter, screwdriver, hammer, and a nut driver at the start of the bloody trail in the dining room, and several of the tools had blood stains on them. Bloody boot prints were found in the dining and living room and on the bedroom floor. After kicking down the bedroom door, they found Alianna's naked body crumpled in a corner in a pool of blood. Her body appeared as if she had been dragged and thrown into the room. Police recovered a torn sweater, a training bra, a shoe, and a torn condom wrapper in the living room. However, Alianna's backpack, earbuds, winter coat, and other clothing were never recovered. No empty alcohol containers or drug paraphernalia were found inside of the house. From her autopsy, it was concluded that Alianna died from multiple injuries since they were all so severe. She had suffered 8 puncture wounds of various depths to her face and head. One puncture wound through her right eyelid forced her eye partly from its socket, fractured the bone above and behind her eye, and entered the right side of her brain. Another puncture went through her right ear and skull into her brain. There was also a pattern injury on her face that was consistent with metal teeth marks on a powerful drill, a tear to her scalp that could have been caused by a hammer or wrench, and a puncture on the top of her head, breastbone, and back of her body, all consistent with the Phillips head screwdriver. There was another wound by her left ear that might have been an imprint to some extent from the bottom of boots, and the force of the shoe fractured her jawbone. Tragically, the medical examiner concluded that she was still alive when the majority of the injuries were inflicted. It was also clear that Alianna was sexually assaulted, and it was this piece of DNA that would soon identify her murderer, Christopher Whitaker. "44-year-old Christopher Whitaker was a native of Fayetteville, Tennessee, with a long criminal record with 3 distinct incidences. In 1998, he was charged with grand theft and burglary. He was also charged with aggravated robbery and felonious assault, though the case was dismissed. On April 8, 2005, he committed sexual battery and felonious assault against a woman in his home after letting her in so she could use the bathroom. According to the victim, he came out of the bathroom with a pair of scissors and began choking her and proceeded to stab her in the neck with the scissors. She passed out and woke up on the floor with neck pain and with her pants and underwear removed. A medical evaluation determined she had been sexually assaulted. He was sentenced to 4 years in prison for 3rd-degree felony sexual battery and 2nd-degree felonious assault. He was released in 2009 and was registered as a sex offender. In 2012, he was charged with aggravated theft. Christopher was identified as the man in the surveillance footage. Police also learned that around 10 a.m. on the day of Alianna's disappearance, he went to Golgotha Missionary Baptist Church and asked the pastor whether he needed help unloading a truck for the church's food pantry. He then worked for 2 hours, and while unloading the truck, Christopher said, "I'm not working and I'm down on my luck and I had some problems with my woman." But the pastor said that they did not notice anything unusual about his appearance, and nothing indicated that he was intoxicated or on drugs. 2 days after this, a friend of his said he told them, "I gotta get out of here. I'll pay somebody $20 to take me out of here." On February 2nd, 2017, Christopher was arrested after his DNA was identified from samples and collected from Alianna's body. In his interview, prior to being confronted with the DNA evidence, he denied being near the vacant home that day, but he said he was around the area days before to drywall a house. He claimed he did not know her or what happened to her and only saw the flyers. When confronted with his DNA, his story changed several times. He eventually denied sexually assaulting her and somehow claimed she initiated the contact. He also claimed that she physically assaulted him and the situation escalated to her death. He said he did not remember if he used any of the tools on Alianna and swore that none of this would have happened if he had been sober and in the right state of mind, and blamed his actions on drugs. Alianna's murder trial began a year later on February 1st, 2018. He was charged with 10 counts, including aggravated murder, rape, and kidnapping, and he pleaded not guilty to all charges. His defense acknowledged his crimes, but said his drug use made him less able to control his impulses and follow the law. However, the prosecutors disagreed, with one saying, "The evidence does not point to a drug-induced frenzy, does not point to a blackout. It points to that he knows what he was doing." 12 days later, he was found guilty on all 10 counts, and the jury recommended that he be put to death. The judge agreed on March 26th, saying the mitigating circumstances pale in comparison to the barbarity of the evidence. Alianna's mother told the court, "Death is too good for him, and I won't believe he has any remorse until he suffers like my daughter suffered." Alianna's father told Christopher, "When you get where you're going to get what you got coming before you get to the gas, lethal injection chamber, and that my baby didn't have a chance."
When she'd come over on the weekends, on Fridays, we'd have this same talk about this guy back here. I warned her of guys like that. I warned her of the abandoned buildings. I told her to watch out for these predators. I didn't want her catching 2 buses to school. I stressed that. This is what I get. She would talk to me, "Daddy, you showed me how to fight. I'll be okay, Daddy." I say, "Baby, listen to me and quit running your mouth. Don't walk with your hood on your head. Don't have the earbuds in your ear. Be aware of your surroundings." She kept running her mouth and I grabbed her. I said, "That's how it's going to happen, Alianna." I said, "That's how it's going to happen. Now what you going to do?" "Wow, Daddy, you scared me." I said, "Yeah." Lord, give me strength to continue on with this foundation to keep my mind right and my spirit right. Excuse me, so I can look at this bitch ass dude.
You're addressing the court, Mr. DeFreeze, not...
I said enough. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. With respect to sentencing as to the non-capital charges, Mr.
The woman Christopher attacked in 2005 supported his death sentence. Along with death, he is sentenced to 48 years in prison. He tried to appeal his case in August 22, 2022, to which it was rejected by the courts. He is currently imprisoned on death row at the Chillicothe Correctional Institution. Alianna's funeral was held on February 11, 2017, with hundreds of attendees. Shortly after her murder, her mother became homeless. In January 2019, Ohio's Governor John Kasich signed the Alianna Alert Bill after it passed the House of Reps, which legally requires schools to call parents within 120 minutes of the start of the school day if their child is absent without parents having previously notified the school. It went into effect in April 2019. That same year, the parents of Alianna filed a wrongful death lawsuit against her school, E-Prep in Village Prep, Woodland Hills. The lawsuit included the school district, the owner of the Fuller Avenue house, Christopher Whitaker, and others. It claimed that there was already a system in place where the school's admins would send an automated message notification to parents to alert them about news involving their children, including unexcused absences, which her parents signed up for. If they would have been notified, they would have been able to locate her much sooner. The city and its employees also failed to monitor abandoned properties to prevent illicit activities from occurring in them, including the owner of that house. They sought at least $15 million in compensatory and punitive damages. In January 2022, the DeFreeze family finally received a settlement of $1 million. The abandoned house has since been torn down. May Alianna's family find ease in an abundance of healing. May Alianna rest in paradise, and may Christopher suffer in prison until his date, July 21st, 2026. And thank you all for watching.